One issue I find while I am perusing the library of Babel, that is itch.io, for cool projects to talk about, is that I often find games that are really cool, but aren't necessarily suitable to make a whole video about, and I don't think it makes sense to stretch out a topic that I can cover in just a few minutes for the sake of having content, but I also don't want my videos to be like 3 to 4 minutes long. So here are 3 projects from the Brackeys 2026 Game Jam that I really enjoyed. Cataclysmic Construction is a game developed by Scribelink. It's a very short experience with only one level, and I don't know exactly how to describe the genre of this game. Like, I know that it's definitely a kind of platformer, but also kind of a bullet hell game. The premise is that you play as Spudley Puddle, a humble hardware store owner. You've been summoned by your competitor, who lets you know that the invisible hand of the market hasn't worked out the way he was hoping, and so he's going to do to you what every big brand wished they could do to their smaller competitors: bludgeon them to death with hardware store supplies. Shout out to this game for actually having voice acting in it. You don't tend to see it in smaller projects that often, which is pretty understandable because it's hard to implement, but I do think that Zach McClure does a fantastic job.
There's only room for one hardware supplier in the world. I'm planning to phase you out.
Our competitor teleports us to the Cosmic Warehouse, and I think it's better if I just let him explain it.
You're standing inside the foundations of reality itself. Every wall, every road, every foundation begins with me.
The goal is to survive his onslaught of hardware-based attacks. Tape measures, hammers, oil drums, power drills, and paint cans will clutter the battlefield, and you have to dodge them. Most of them are pretty well telegraphed, but I did find that there are some times where the oil drums would come at me without warning, which could be a little bit frustrating. At the back of the warehouse is an exit door which is covered by various planks and boards. As time goes on, they are shaken off by the sheer chaos of everything going on around them. Once enough time has passed, you are able to make a break for it and escape, and once you do that, you've won. The game pops you back out at the start, and all you can do is go in again and try a better run where you take less damage. I do definitely think there is room for more here. Obviously, as a Game Jam game, I don't expect a full product, and I certainly don't expect a full product for free, but I think that with such a solid foundation built for the game, there is definitely room to construct more levels with different mechanics and characters and that kind of stuff. However, there is something to be said for the brevity of this game. I do like that it begins, it gives you one level that is very curated and very tightly designed, and then it finishes. Overall, this game is a fantastic little one-shot that could easily remain as a once-off or be transformed into a larger scale game. Visitor Approved is an interior design decorating game developed by Herbcore. The premise is that you are given a room with some furniture to add to that room, with each piece of furniture having several specifications about its position within the room. These are things such as being adjacent to another piece of furniture or wall or window, being close to another piece of furniture or wall or window, or facing a wall, window, or another piece of furniture. Once you have placed all the furniture in the house, you can invite the visitor to judge the layout of the room you've made, whereupon he gives you a score. Now, in true games journalism fashion, I didn't read the instructions that were designed for me to understand how the game works, and then I spent my first 2 rounds of the game confused as to why I was getting a bad score. There are 2 sets of instructions when it comes to placing the furniture: the instructions from the human and the instructions from the visitor. As it turns out, you're supposed to ignore the human's instructions and only follow the visitor's instructions. And while it is my fault that I didn't read the instructions before playing, it doesn't actually say anywhere to only appeal to the visitor and not to the human, which I do like as a design aspect of the game. I think we live in the era of fan wikis and YouTube tutorials for optimizing games, where everyone has to know the best build and the fastest way to complete the game. Sometimes it's nice to not tell me how the game works, and I just have to intuit the mechanics by playing the game. I do really like the fact that the human instructions are all things that would make sense for interior decorating, such as having the couch facing the TV or having the doormat at the door, while the alien instructions are things that would seem nonsensical to a human, but maybe to an alien whose taste is beyond our comprehension, putting a doormat in the middle of the room away from all the other furniture and having the TV facing the window that a bookshelf is covering makes perfect sense. Eventually, you start to unlock more furniture, which only an alien would have the instructions for, or the sensibilities to decorate within a house, because obviously a human wouldn't have the sensibility to know that black goop is supposed to go in the middle of the room, away from all the other furniture. You wouldn't want to get the black goop on your houseplant after all. This is about the extent of the game progression. One thing I would love to see in any further development of the game is maybe some more meta progression elements, something like level-based progression or unlockables for doing a good job at decorating, but overall, this game has some really strong base gameplay, and I would love to see it expanded upon if the developers decide to pursue this game any further, and I definitely recommend checking this game out. Corporate Memphis is an office-based task management game developed by Ultralight Liam and Sam. I actually didn't know what Corporate Memphis meant until researching for this video. It's that really vapid art style that large companies will use in corporate communications with their workforce, and it's often criticized for its soulless and kind of sanitized feeling, which is meant to convey the idea that deviance from its bold block colors and simple shapes is not only discouraged, but impossible. Unsurprisingly from that, the premise of this game is that you have just landed a job at an office where nothing bad ever happens and you're totally only going to have a positive experience working there. Before you begin, you have to sign this contract, which appears to have been drafted up by Percy Jackson himself, and I mean, he was the hero of that book, so I have no problem working for this company. This has to be one of the good monopolies. The main gameplay is completing tasks that flow into your taskbar. This can be scheduling a meeting day, scheduling a meeting time, organizing PowerPoints, searching for a file, dodging bullets, shooting a file down, swiping right on only your boss, figuring out what people want for lunch, searching for deleted files in the recycling bin, verifying that you are in fact a human, or, as a nice little twist that the game pulls on you, recreating the signature from the start of the game. So I hope you didn't add a smiley face at the end like an idiot thinking it wasn't going to be important. Each week of the game has you completing as many tasks as you can within the time limit. Each task also has its own constantly dwindling time limit, which really adds to the stress when you've just failed the time limit on one task, only to be thrust into another task for which you don't have any time to complete. All the while, this corporate Memphis art is staring you in the face, taunting you with messages such as, "Good is the enemy of great," or "We are all in this together." The main jingle of the game is also perfect for the tone that the game is going for. It's positive and cheery, but it gets grating pretty quickly, and its kind of calm disposition definitely contrasts with the stress that you feel as all of your failed tasks start to pile up. After 7 weeks, the game tells you how you did, and then in true corporate fashion, you're invited to Endless Mode, where you can do this until you actually drop dead in real life. I found this a little anticlimactic, but I think that might have been the point of the game. One last thing about the game I really like is the transition between weeks. The screen goes dark, and this beautiful ambient song starts to play, before it's cut short and you're right back into the office. I think it's a more understated way of getting across the themes of this game, and I think that it works very well in contrast with the more in-your-face elements of the game's theme and messaging. This game is definitely worth giving a go yourself. I think that anyone who has worked in an office before or does work in an office will definitely find some catharsis in the humor and the messaging of this game, and I think that if you haven't worked in an office before, you'll probably still have a good time with it. So there you have it. 3 short games, all of them based on the theme of strange places. If any of them looked interesting, be sure to check these projects out. The links for all 3 will be in the description. And if you enjoyed, please be sure to subscribe and leave a comment telling me which one of these looked the most interesting to you. I'd love to know what you guys think of these projects.